Just because it says 24-hour wear does not mean you should wear it for 24 hours. What's up guys, it's Shelly. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new, what's up? I'm Shelly. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a full day wear test and review of the All Hours foundation by YSL. I am also going to be trying on 2 of their lipsticks. I also want to say thank you so much to YSL for sending this to me. But if you guys know, my foundation reviews are quite long because I always like to try and put absolutely every little bit of information that you guys might possibly need in them. So don't worry, I will have all the timestamps in the description box down below. And now before we get into this foundation review and wear test, if you guys are new here, I would highly appreciate if you guys click subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any more of my videos. Now with that intro out of the way, let's just go right on into the review. So technical specs, this product retails for $54, so it's kind of on the higher end of the price range, but that is pretty standard for a foundation of this level. It comes with 0.8 fluid ounces of product. That is actually less than your typical liquid foundation. Typically they come with about 1 fluid ounce, so this is missing 0.16 fluid ounces, and then it comes with an SPF of 20. This is what the foundation bottle looks like. So the color that I got was B60 Amber. If you guys are going to be using me as a color reference, that is the color I got. I typically run neutral in my foundation shades. Now let's jump into the claims that YSL has for this foundation. On the side of the box here, it says up to 24-hour wear. Just because it says 24-hour wear does not mean you should wear it for 24 hours. Definitely take it off. Full coverage, create a flawless, even coverage without a mask-like effect. Very big claim. A lot of full coverage foundations really do erase everything from your face, so it ends up looking pretty masky. So that's a pretty big claim. Matte shine control and protected skin enriched with skincare complex and sunscreen. So basically this foundation is going to last all day and all night. You're going to have a full coverage foundation that looks natural and matte shine control. That kind of strikes concern for me. It might cling to dry patches. So luckily for you guys, today my skin is dry, which is kind of rare. So I really do get to test it out as far as how it's going to work with dry skin. And then protected skin, I personally don't care if a foundation has sunscreen in it because I think it's more important to focus on an actual face sunscreen, which I don't do, but I think it's more important than having a mixed in sunscreen or SPF in your foundation. All right, so now that we are done talking about all of the claims, let's go ahead and talk about my face and all of my imperfections that we are hoping this foundation is going to do. So as you guys can see, my skin has a lot of discoloration going on. I have some yellowing under my eyes. I have this blue vein that pops out, some darkness right there, redness on my cheeks. I have a couple hyperpigmentation spots on my chin. I have sunspots around my cheekbone and under my eye. And my scar from my last foundation review has actually healed up quite well. But yeah, so those are typically my problems that I try and correct with my foundation. I just really do have uneven skin. There's yellow, red, green, blue, purple, just all kind of I'm sure you guys can see, it just all meshed around everywhere. So I'm pretty sure this foundation will be able to cover it, but let's see how well it wears. So my skin is a little bit dry right now, so I am going to just add some antioxidant moisturizing drops from e.l.f. They're nothing crazy special. They're just gonna help my skin be a little bit more moisturized because I am a little concerned about this matte finish if my skin is super dry. I'm also not the biggest fan of a super matte finish. It kind of looks a little bit dry, so I'm hoping that it doesn't look powdery and dry-like. Okay, so it has a pump. I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 pumps. 1, 2. So this is how much I put on my hand. I am going to go ahead and do this side of my face first, and then we will go ahead and compare it to this side. Oh, okay, so first thing that I'm noticing is there is most definitely a fragrant smell. So if scents are something you are sensitive to, it definitely is perfumed. I know a lot of people don't like that. It doesn't bother me much. It smells nice, but I know that some people don't like perfumes. Alright, so I finished applying the foundation to this side of my face. As you can see, this one is not done, this side is done, and it definitely did even out my skin tone. As you guys can probably see, this one is pretty flat, but surprisingly enough, it really doesn't give it that mask look effect. I have used foundations in the past that were full coverage and they definitely look masky. Right now, I don't feel that this looks masky. I'm liking it so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed through this side so you guys can see how it evens out. You know, this area tends to be a problem area for me and the redness on my cheeks, and then we will come back with a more final thought. Okay, so I have applied it to my full face now, and first thing right off the bat, I can tell you, I picked a too dark color. So let's try and ignore the fact that it's a little dark. This is kind of like, I guess, would be my summer color. But I am still noticing after one layer that this area is still kind of like red on the top of my cheekbone. I do see a little bit of that vein right there, which I'm not too concerned about because I typically add my concealer on. So I'm just kind of looking at the overall evenness of my skin, and you know, it looks pretty even, but I wouldn't necessarily say this is full coverage though. I can still see some redness, a little bit of hyperpigment right there from my hyperpigmentation, and it isn't what I would expect a full coverage foundation to be. It feels, what is that? It feels pretty comfortable. Like, honestly, it doesn't feel like I'm wearing much, so that's great because sometimes they feel very thick when they're full coverage. So now I'm gonna go ahead and test its buildability because I really wanna get rid of this little bit of redness right there. So I'm just gonna do a little tiny pump of that and see if it ends up getting cakey when you build it up, because I know that some do. Okay, so as far as buildability, it doesn't look like it's caking up. It did cover up that redness, and now I feel like I'm like much more even. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my full face of makeup off camera, and then I'll come back. We'll see how it wears with everything else, and then throughout the day, I will come and check back in to see if this is really a long-wearing, long-lasting foundation. Okay, so my full face of makeup is done. I added some concealer to brighten under my eyes, powdered over that, bronzer, blush, and then used a rose water setting spray. And so this is what it looks like. Looking on my monitor, it looks really good on camera, and so it's probably gonna be really good for videos and pictures, but in person using my handheld mirror, for me personally, it seems a little bit cakey, just a little bit with like powder and concealer on top of everything, but it's not too bad. So later on in this video, I'm also going to get some footage of me in direct daylight, sunlight, other lightings, just so we can test what it actually looks like, because I know that in this, what you guys are seeing, it probably looks good. I mean, I see what you're saying, it looks good, but you know, that wouldn't be the real test. So it is 1:05 right now, and I will check back in with you guys in a few hours. I'm actually going to finish off this look with a lipstick because I want to test out these YSL lip colors that they also sent me along with this foundation. So I'm going to try Plump In color number 1. I've actually never tried a YSL lip product before, so a little black heart. Wow, so this also smells kind of like watermelon, and I guess YSL has like a thing for scents. All right, so it's just a subtle kind of tinted balm, and it's a little too light for me today, so I'm gonna go ahead and try my other color, which I'm kind of excited to try because it's a very different color than I would typically buy. So this is the color Orange Perfecto. So it's this, and the color is that. All right, so this lip color definitely doesn't really match my eye color that much, but I think it is very pretty, and it feels so smooth, and it just feels like a nice glossy balm, which I really do like. I'm kind of over the feel of liquid lips. Anyway, so it was around 1:05. I will be back in the next 3 hours to see how this foundation lasts, what it looks like. Is it really going to be a long wearing full coverage foundation? Okay, so it is 4 o'clock. It's about 3 hours into wearing this foundation. Remember, it's supposed to be 24-hour wear. Let's give it a look. This is where my combination skin gets rather annoying. So I can see that my oils are peeking through around the edge of my nose and on the tip of my nose. So I know if I touch that, it's probably, you know what, let's do it. Okay. Actually, okay, so interestingly enough, although it oiled up around my nose, which is typically my oily area, my skin is pretty dry today. But when I kind of blotted off the oils, none of the foundation seems to have transferred with it. Typically when foundations oil up and like break down around this area for me and I touch them, it will begin to either break down on my face or get removed off of my face, and the foundation is still on my skin even when I like kind of press the oils off. So that's a plus because it does say that it is a 24-hour wear foundation, and that shows how much staying power it has. As far as the rest of my face, I mean, you guys tell me. It looks honestly pretty much exactly the same as it was. So it has been 3 hours. It's 4 o'clock. I will check back in at 7 o'clock and we will see what my nose area is looking like, because that is my only concern, is that it might break down in this circular area. Okay, so this is what the foundation looks like after 3 hours of wear in front of my big open window. So this is natural daylight. This isn't, with my studio lights, because that kind of makes foundations all pretty much look good. So yeah, this is a better representation of, I guess, what you would look like when you're hanging out with your friends, out and about in the day. Okay guys, so it is 7:07. It has been about 6 hours. I know this foundation is a 24-hour wear foundation. I'm not gonna test this out for 24 hours, but let's just check what it looks like at 6 hours. Okay, so same thing as the 3 hour mark. It's still a little bit greasy here in this area. I also have been getting kind of itchy like around this part of my face. Like, I don't know if that's the foundation or if it's just my skin right now, but I have been scratching here and I can see that it's like fully removed from around this corner of my nose. It's red. But other than that, like this part of my face, which I typically tend to like sit like this, so it typically tends to wear off, it's actually still there. So it's really holding up well. I mean, it should. It claims to be 24 hours, so it should be holding up. It doesn't look too cakey. It doesn't look dry or anything. It actually does look greasy around my nose. So I'm going to take a piece of toilet paper and blot it and see if any foundation transfers or if the oil is just going to come off. Okay, so color did come off, but just the slightest bit of product, which could be the powder, I'm not really sure what it is, has come off, but it still leaves behind a coverage that is pretty full. So 6 hours in, I am still impressed with it. I love that it's not caking or sticking to any dry spots. It hasn't really, other than this part of my nose, hasn't moved, shifted, changed colors whatsoever. It's just, it looks like I did when I put it on. So I will check back in right before I go to bed, whenever that is. I'm not going to promise to stay up till midnight tonight, but I will come back one more time and then we will finish this review. All right, so it is the end of the day. It is 10:05. My foundation has been on for 9 hours and I'm going to go ahead and give it a look. Okay, so 9 hours in, I can see that I'm starting to get some of it wearing off right here on the bridge area of my nose. The redness around the corners of my nose is also starting to peek through. My hyperpigmentation down here on my chin is as well. And there's starting to be some patchiness in my contour area. But otherwise, I feel like it looks pretty decent for being on my face like pretty much all day, and I've kind of done this with my face. I've been scratching around my nose area. I would say like there's no actual breakdown of the foundation. The oils that were around my nose didn't really cause such a big problem like I know some other foundations would have had. So my final thoughts on the YSL All Hours foundation is an 8 out of 10. I would say 8 out of 10 and not 10 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 because it is a little bit more on the pricey side. You get a little bit less than you typically would with a normal liquid foundation. And then overall with the claims, I would say it does probably last up to 24 hours. Full coverage, I'm gonna say like a high medium to full coverage. Matte shine finish, my oil still broke through the matte shine, and then skin protection. Another thing that I personally didn't love about the product is it looked a little bit cakey in this area, and that could be because my skin is really dry in that area right now, so towards the later part of the day it started to cling to dry patches. So if you guys have dry skin, it probably isn't going to be the best foundation for you, but overall it is a pretty good foundation. Would I buy it again? Probably not, just because you guys know I love my Estee Lauder Double Wear. It has never done me dirty, and it's a lot cheaper than this, but I am glad I have this. It is definitely great for photos, video. It is a good foundation if you are trying to do a full face of makeup and really beat your face without having a mask-like effect. It's not full coverage like something like the Kat Von D Lock-It foundation is. So this is a good product. I really would recommend it, but I of course am going to stick with my Estee Lauder Double Wear. If you guys are interested in the YSL All Hours foundation, the link will be in the description box below for you guys to purchase it yourself and check out all the shades and all of that good stuff. If you guys enjoyed this foundation review, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let me know any questions you have in the comments section down below. And if you guys want to see more foundation reviews, I have a bunch on my channel and I'm going to keep making them. I'm going to try and test out and review full day foundations with pretty much all of them. So go ahead and click subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any of those or any upcoming videos that I have. And of course, just like always, until next time, bye guys.